Good morning, Shahir, and welcome to Hometown Living.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So you are a professor at IU South Bend. So tell me what you teach.
I teach biochemistry and chemistry mostly.
And you've been there how long?
I've been a professor there for 10 years, but I also graduated from IU South Bend many, many years before.
I love that. So tell me a little bit about the inspiration behind the book.
Yes. So the book is about proteins, my favorite subject. I co-wrote it with my friend, the wonderful Maggie Fink, who is a researcher at Notre Dame and also teaches for us at IUSB. Both of us are alums of IU South Bend, and we both love the subject of proteins from the scientific point of view. Of course, we all know that proteins are food. We eat them.
Yes.
And when we eat proteins, we digest them, we break them down into their main components, which we call amino acids. They're kind of like Legos, and then we can use those to build our own proteins. And then our proteins can do pretty much almost everything that a living human or animal needs to survive. Proteins digest our food, they move our muscles, they help us deliver oxygen to different parts of our bodies. You may have heard of insulin. Yeah, and so a lot of the things that we hear, we don't know how important they are to our lives, and we don't know that they are proteins.
I love all of that, but what makes me most astounded about that is that you explained it in a way that I understand it. So I said to you off camera, I was a little intimidated about doing this interview because I don't have a science degree, but that was one of the inspirations behind the book, was to make it so that people like me could understand it.
That's exactly what it was. And, you know, we never forgot at that time where we didn't know what we know. And somebody took the time to actually explain it to us. We're very grateful to our teachers and professors who took the time to really explain these things to us. We never forgot the fascination of learning about these proteins. They have these amazing shapes. And by the way, the book is illustrated by myself and Dr. Maggie Fink. We both hand-drawn everything that's in the book, because we really fell in love with the shapes that these proteins take on, but also the wonderful things they do for our bodies. And then from there, we wanted to just talk about it through stories. So we tell a lot of our personal stories about food and friendship and loss and, you know, and all of these human emotions. So it's really not so much a book of facts, although there are a lot of facts in it. It's more of a book of stories that helps you understand a little bit about the world.
Where did your love of proteins come from? There's all kinds of things you could fall in love with.
Yeah, so most of us are familiar with DNA,
yes,
right? Our genes, that they kind of make us who we are, and we know what the genetic code is. And the genetic code is, you know, the code that tells, it's a kind of an instructional manual. Well, but what does that code for? It actually codes for making proteins, because proteins are kind of like the worker bees. They do all the stuff. The DNA is kind of like the instructional manual, and then the proteins are what does everything. And so that's what I fell in love with, is the diversity in what they do, not just for us, but for frogs and bees and chimpanzees and bananas, and every living thing that has ever lived has used proteins to do some of the most amazing things that even humans like ourselves can't do. And that's actually the inspiration for the name of the book, The Color of North. There is some migratory birds use proteins to actually see the magnetic field of the Earth, a color that we can't perceive. So
I did not know that.
There's so many fascinating things within our human body, but also outside of that. And that's the kind of fascination that we wanted to foster in the readers.
I love that. What do you hope that the readers take away from that?
I think we want them to take a little bit of an appreciation of what goes on in their own bodies, but also appreciation for the diversity of all the different life forms that we have. Hopefully learn something new and also inspire them to just dig a little bit deeper.
I love that. And you have a podcast.
Yes.
I love the name of the podcast.
Yes.
Rust Belt Science,
Yes.
correct?
Rust Belt Science.
And I don't need a lab coat to listen to it.
Not at all. We really talk about the intersection. Again, it's with my creative partner, Maggie Fink. The two of us decided that we wanted to present science and really talk to scientists and present them as human beings, because, you know, we are just like everybody else. You know, we go to the grocery store, you see us everywhere, and we wanted to kind of just talk about scientists and say, what do you like? What do you listen to? And then tell us a little bit about your science. And most of the scientists that we interview, they do things that are very different from what we do. And so it's a chance for us to learn as well.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Shahir, for being here. And thank you for the inspiration behind the book. I'm anxious to read it.
You can keep this copy.
You know what? I'm going on a honeymoon and I will take that with me. So
Wonderful.
Perfect reading material. Thank
so
you. More Hometown Living after the break.